Hey Instagram, I'm actually doing my first Instagram live. I've been trying these on Facebook and I just want to see if there's any differences between on Facebook and on Instagram. I would like to rotate these platforms. I still haven't gotten my YouTube mobile app to allow me to do live streaming. So I decided that basically, hey everyone. So I am actually live right now. I am just testing out this Instagram live feature, and I basically just wanted to see the contrast between doing this on Facebook and doing it on Instagram and all of that. The reason why I started over was because I noticed I have one viewer. So hello to that one viewer. And yeah, so I'm going to be using this as a method of doing content when I'm struggling to produce enough content for my vlogs. So I would like to still keep doing my vlogs, of course, because I do like having my vlog content. But when I am doing and not able to get in my content, I want to be able to still put out content. And live content is a very easy way to do that, because I can say in the morning I'm going live at this particular time and there's no editing involved, or very little if I decide to do some after the fact. I don't though, because this is how I am authentically, and how I want to be portrayed is basically without a lot of editing. So yeah, I thought I would just talk about how I've been doing and how I've been feeling, and use this as a way of catching up, basically. In the summer, maybe I can do some Instagram lives out in the trails and all of that, just like on Facebook. I don't know. I don't really know where this feature is going to go, but I want to be able to use multiple different types of videos. So with that being said, I want to get into the actual content. Now, I do actually have an outline for this because I want to get all my thoughts out, and I will admit that I'm tired today. So the reason why there wasn't much notice for this video was because I honestly didn't know if I was going to have enough energy to basically do a live video. I didn't know whether I was going to have enough energy to even be able to do much of anything today. So I'm coming off of working for 4 days, then getting a day off, and then just finishing another 4 in the past 4 days. So that's 8 out of 9 days where I've been working. And these aren't just short, easy shifts for the most part. Like, they're full 8-hour days. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to have the energy to do this. And I gave a hint this morning on my stories, and all of my stories get pushed to my Facebook feed as well. So there was a little bit of warning, but I still wasn't sure whether I was going to have the energy to do this until about 40 minutes ago. So I apologize for the lack of notice. I'm hoping that as time goes on that I'll be able to give you guys more notice, because what I'll do is when I get my schedule, I'll go, okay, I have this day, or this day off. Here's the day I'm gonna try and do this. It may not stick though, because as we all know, sometimes things come up with chronic illness that you can't plan for. And when I have the ability to control exactly what I do, I'm going to be listening to myself and listening to, okay, do I need to actually not do anything this day because I'm not feeling well? I have enough in the tank for this one, so I'm going to do one today. But honestly, if this happens again, I probably won't be able to do any content, just because I need to be giving myself a lot of rest. Now, I did rest the entire morning, so I didn't do really anything, and that is exactly what I needed. So I'm feeling okay, but I'm definitely still feeling tired. Okay, So I apologize if I'm off looking like this. I am looking at my notes to see what I want to talk about because I did do an outline for this. So the first one was saying I'm sorry if I look tired because of my work schedule. And the one I want to leave for a little bit later, and so the last video you guys would have seen from me was my vlog. I did publish that one to IGTV. The previous video before that was a Facebook Live, and I did not publish that second Facebook Live because I wasn't honestly too happy with it, and I just didn't have the time to caption it for IGTV. So that one, if you'd like to watch it, is available on my Facebook, and you can find that through my bio in my Instagram profile. So the last video was that vlog, and I shared some of the hobbies I like to do. I shared how I was feeling, all of that. It was basically an update along with hobbies. And my goal with that video was to basically to say to people, especially kind of when you're at the start and you get this sudden change to life with a chronic illness, you can't and don't really feel like doing a lot because of the pain, because of the exhaustion, because of all of that. So I used doing jigsaw puzzles as a way to basically get myself up off the couch or out of bed for a few hours that I could manage when I was at my sickest. And that was kind of right around the time I had the lumbar puncture that I got all of those puzzles. So that was the one thing that I found that really helped. And I found that getting up and doing something and it was a nice distraction. I couldn't do it for very long, but it was something I could do. And now I've gone from that to being able to work 8 out of 9 days. I am so happy with where I'm at with everything right now. It is, if I would have known a year or even 2 years ago that this was how I was going to feel, it wouldn't have felt like everything was so dark at the time. I'm really hard on myself. And because of that, the not doing anything was really difficult. So having something where I felt like I was kind of doing something was better than doing nothing. And it was something that was quiet, that was kind of enough to distract myself. Yeah, I was doing the workouts and everything, but that was taking everything out of me. I honestly think now, back in the beginning, I was doing too much exercise and it was actually resulting in some negative outcomes and some stalled progress. But eventually it did turn around and I did start to see the success, but it took a while to start to see that. And I'm actually wondering now if it wasn't the fact that I basically just, sorry, I got distracted for a second. At that time, I was just so unable to do anything that it was really difficult, and it's really difficult to describe. Now, I haven't had the chance to vlog really anything but a time lapse of a storm that we had since doing the vlog, basically, because I've been working the entire time. That's basically why I'm doing this live, is because I was just unable to make any content, and all I have is a time lapse from the storm. So I'm hoping that at some point I'm gonna get some more vlog footage, but honestly, like, it's about to get really busy. I don't even know how much time I'm gonna have to make content because December is really busy with the job I'm at. I'm a little nervous about it because I know I'm going to be quite tired by the end of December. But with that being said, basically, I don't think I'm gonna have a chance to do much content. And then, as I was saying in like previous years and previous videos even, a lot of times in December, I actually do take Christmas and New Year's off. Like, it's just a time that I break to do any content. Like, it's basically like my vacation for the year. So I'm used to not putting out content during those couple of weeks. I've done it for the last couple of years just so that I can give 100% of attention to my family, because when you're vlogging, you can take away from your friends and family. And so that's the time I like to be with my friends and family. This year, that's going to be even more the case, because I have a feeling I'm going to probably be feeling like I'm living at work. I mean, it's like that now sometimes, but now it's, yes, definitely I need to have this time to spend with my family and my loved ones, and that's really important to me, of course. So with that being said, there's probably not going to be really any content put out and no live streams done during that period of time. So I hope you understand and all of that. Okay, so that kind of concludes that part of this live that I want to talk about. Now I just want to get into basically talking about an update and how I've been feeling since the vlog, because it's been a bit since not only I vlogged some of that, but since I've given an update. And I really am not posting a lot on social media. The platform I'm most active on right now is Twitter, and the reason for that is because I can go on there, I can catch up with things like news stories and all of that, and then I can quickly send out my thoughts, basically, and it's like a soundbite, and it takes me like 2 to 5 minutes. And when you're doing video content, it can take you several minutes longer than that, because you're trying to basically come up with a good short video or a good Instagram story, and it takes time to make that content. Now, with that being said, with Twitter, it's kind of like the live streaming for content. So what I mean by that is you can get a lot of information out in a thread of tweets really quickly compared to doing a video, because I can sit there and type it out and then edit it and send it. It's so quick, and that's why I'm on Twitter quite a bit, actually, is because it's a platform where I can basically get out my thoughts in the moment, send. So yeah, that's basically that about why there hasn't been much content, is because I've been sharing it to Twitter. Now, what I have been trying to do is anything I send to Twitter, screenshot it so that I can share it to my Instagram story and so that it gets shared to my Facebook story. But as for that, there hasn't been much for anything as for updates. And I basically have this issue because I'm so tired at the end of the day. So it is taking out between getting ready to go to work and actually working. It takes a lot out of me. And what I wish people would really understand is that the getting ready to go somewhere takes just as much energy, if not more sometimes it feels like, than actually doing the thing that you're doing. So in my case, it takes more energy some days to actually get ready to go to work than it does when I'm actually at work, which is surprising because it doesn't seem like it should be that way. And I've tried to give words to this, but I haven't really found the proper way of wording it so that people really get it. And I don't know if there's a way for someone to really understand it besides maybe doing the spoon exercise with them, like saying, okay, you have this many spoons on a good day, so you need to give this many spoons to this activity, this many spoons to that activity. Like, I really don't think there's a great way of illustrating it besides ones that are already out there. Maybe the low battery, which I've talked about, so I wake up not fully charged, or maybe I'm not feeling fully charged, but I might be, and having to work on a low battery for hours is very difficult. But you're not only having to work on that, you're having to get ready to go. So by the time you actually leave your house, it's actually down to so little on the battery. Excuse me, I'm just gonna take a drink here. I'm not used to talking this much. Okay, now that I'm actually hydrated a little bit more, I can just feel it in my throat basically when I start to need to have a drink of water, and it happens at about 20 minutes. So, yeah. So I'm still doing quite well despite having, it's maybe a handful of migraine days now. And what happens when I have a migraine now is completely different, or it feels different than what it used to. I don't know if it actually is, or if it's just particular symptoms. I do know that the pain feels different though, because there's not really much pain, but in my opinion that makes sense being on Aimovig, because that's what it's supposed to be working on, is that particular pathway. So I'm not exactly surprised that I don't really feel much pain. So my biggest symptoms when I'm experiencing a migraine, at least lately, is severe fatigue. So it's real. I almost feel like I'm there physically, but I'm not really present mentally or all of that. So I'll be there, but I notice things aren't functioning maybe as quickly as they should, or as efficiently as they should, and I'll be extra tired. Feels like kind of if you don't get enough sleep. Lately also I've been noticing some eye pain. So it's almost like if you've been on a device for a while. So you just feel this fatigue in your eyes. And I don't know if that's along with the tiredness or if that's an actual symptom, but that's what I've been experiencing with that. And then the one that's been strange, and maybe this has been a symptom before, but I just haven't really had enough of that type of stimuli to notice it, but sound sensitivity has been a big issue. So it'll be certain types of sounds, and it'll be so sharp in my ears that it actually hurts. So that's a different one, but it's been something that's definitely I've been noticing. And as for the actual phases, because in a lot of my videos from before, I used to talk about, okay, I can distinctly tell when I'm in this particular phase. I don't know if that's really been honestly happening as much anymore. So I sometimes can't tell whether the fatigue means I'm about to start a migraine or I'm about to end it. Unless I start to notice aura symptoms, I don't know really where I am in a possible migraine, basically trajectory or whatever they call that. So the different phases of the migraine. Okay, so you got the prodrome, the aura, the actual migraine, and then the postdrome. Sometimes I can't tell whether I'm prodrome or postdrome because a lot of the symptoms match. And now I've talked about that before, so I'm not really going to get into that in this particular live stream. But check out my videos on that from a couple of months ago. I believe I did those, if you haven't already. You can watch any of my videos on Facebook, YouTube, or IGTV. All of them pretty much are there. IGTV doesn't have as much of my content. I don't have the very old content from YouTube on there. I don't remember when I actually started posting all of my videos to IGTV, but it was quite a few months into actually doing my channel, which is okay by me because those first few videos are not great content. So I'm just going to leave it at that. if you want to check out those older videos, feel free to do so. But I cringe whenever I see it because it's terrible quality. Everything is just terrible. So, yeah. But that's basically the biggest symptoms that I experience. And it's nothing that's really impeding on my ability to function anymore. The fatigue is definitely hard to work around, but everything else can kind of just be ignored. And I don't know exactly, but it doesn't really seem like if I've been working through a migraine that I'm taking spoons from another day. It doesn't really feel like that. It just kind of feels like I'm just in slow motion almost during those more bad days. And I honestly credit the Aimovig to that. I think it's not only is it stopping me from having as many migraine days, but it's making so that when I do have the few days that I have, I'm functional and can still do the things I need to do. I don't know if that's backed up, but that's what I seem to notice with it. And if that's the case, I'm even more thankful for it, because if I'm able to function and not have as many symptoms that might lead to me having to miss work or all of that, then it's being even more beneficial, even if it isn't 100% a preventative, if you're catching what I'm saying with that. I am so very thankful for that medication. And now I'm also thankful for my mindfulness practice, because there's been a few days where I'm struggling and I know that it's going to be a hard day. And this is what I tell myself. Be in the moment and appreciate the fact that you're in this moment. And time is just something that will progress, and you'll eventually be able to come back home again and rest the way you need to. That's basically what I tell myself. Be in the moment and don't take these days for granted, because this is what you wanted for so long, was to be able to do something similar to this. Okay. Now I want to get into and talk about something that's been a little bit on my mind. I know this video and I've been going on for quite a while, but I want to talk about honoring limits for a second, because it kind of ties into what I just finished with. Okay, I know I can function when I'm experiencing my migraines, but is this a good thing to do? And if I was given the absolute choice, I wouldn't do this to myself. One of the things that I've learned throughout this journey is honoring your limits. Honoring when you got to give yourself a break. I think it's really important, and I think a lot of our society is unhealthy in this way. We don't honor when we feel like we should have a break. We don't honor when we should be following our limits. And I really wish this is something we would change about society. Like, it doesn't seems like it's a competition of who can do the most in the most amount of time, and who can basically do as many things as whatever without breaking. That shouldn't be what's honored in society. You should be honored for, okay, what's your limits? Are you honoring those limits? And are you taking care of yourself? Because self-care matters. It's important. And when you know yourself to the point of, okay, I gotta actually stop this because I'm going beyond my limits. I know I'm going beyond my limits, and I know I'm gonna end up with these consequences, whatever those might be, then I think it's important to start acknowledging that as a society. Now, I don't know what is worse, knowing your limits and not being able to honor them, or not knowing them at all and accidentally overdoing it and ending up in bed for 3 days because you overdid it. Now, I don't end up in bed anymore when I overdo it, but I really can start to feel quite a bit of pain. And it's basically the warning sign going off, right? So I am currently following a pain doctor by the name of Dr. Rachel Zoffness, and she talks about a pain alarm a lot of the times. I actually shared a podcast with her, and ZDoggMD, who I follow on every platform because I'm a supporter, has had her on now a few times. And I just love her stuff because she speaks to pain in a way that is really understandable. And I think that not only do people with chronic illness benefit from it and chronic pain, but it's spoken in a way that our family and friends can understand it as well, in a way that maybe I can't describe, because you're kind of got two different angles coming at that. So you kind of understand and get taught what pain is, but it's not put down to just a biological reason. So you've also got important components that I think modern and particularly Western medicine just does not honor or acknowledge. So an example being stress, right? We all know that when we get stressed out, our pain dial, basically, as she calls it, gets turned up. I can speak for this. I've had that happen before. So speaking of that, you've got this pain dial, basically, and when you go beyond your limits with this pain dial, it can get turned up. I think it's because of the stress response and a few other different things, but when you overdo it, you can actually also get to the point, excuse me, I'm like trying to think here. So when you overdo it, you can get to the point where you are basically borrowing spoons or borrowing energy from another day. That happened to me a lot, kind of a few months back, when I hadn't been on Aimovig for a while, and I had less practice with mindfulness. Again, I'm going to give credit to both of these things because I think they're both equally important in why I'm at where I'm at. So the mindfulness and meditation practice has helped me learn about myself in ways that I wanted to going into this. So I said, given the extra time that I have now, I want to learn more about myself. Not only what interests me and kind of what the future might hold for me, but I want to learn more about my inner self, because I hadn't really felt like I'd gotten to know myself internally. Now we can get into the question of does the self exist and all of that, but I'm not going to bore you with the whole meditation awakening stuff, because that's not for everybody, and I don't want to be talking about that this late into the video. So I'm going to leave it for another time. But basically, when you overdo it and you know that you're overdoing it, I think there's this alarm bell that goes off going, okay, like normally I would say no, but I'm not given the choice to say no, so like what do I do, because I know this is too much. And I don't know what's worse, that feeling or this question of, am I possibly overdoing this? Is this possibly too much? I don't honestly know. And I honestly think knowing your limits and then having to push beyond that is a little bit worse, because you know what you're getting into. You know that there's going to be consequences for having to do that, whether that decision is yours or not. And it technically is a decision. And in a way, I would say in my case, it's sometimes not my decision. But a lot of times, it is under the choice of us, basically. It is basically a choice that we have to make in a lot of cases. Now, if you're talking about work, that might not be a case, and that's where I'm saying sometimes a lot of this isn't my choice. But getting into that further, you basically have to decide whether that's a choice you want to make and what the consequences are. You got to kind of live with that, and you can be paying for days with the wrong choice. And so the fact that I know that is sometimes really difficult, because I'm not able to honor that anymore. So yeah, I just gotta move the microphone. I'm sorry if it's scratching on the microphone. It's one of the things I hate to hear, actually, on the sound, is that sound. In editing, I basically always cut that out because I do not like that sound in my audio. So, yeah. That's why a lot of times I have my hair pulled back, but because I've been working so much, I wanted my hair down today, because there are times when I have to put my hair up now, and it'll hurt so much because I am experiencing a little bit more pain on my scalp. That can still happen, actually, or I'm experiencing more sensitivity, and it hurts so bad to put my hair up, but I gotta keep it out of my face, basically. Alright, so the thing I want to end with is just if there's been anything new since the vlog, and I basically think my answer to that is I've covered everything at this point. I am just dealing with a lot of tiredness, a lot of exhaustion, and that's basically it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little catch up. I've had one viewer this entire time, which is quite amazing, actually, that you've stuck around, if that's the same person. But hoping to make these Instagram lives, or at least live shows, something a little bit more regular. I'd like to honestly do them once a week for sure, and then maybe have a monthly vlog. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I want to do with my content, and it's likely not going to be solidified until January now, because of, like I said, December is just not a good time to be trying out a lot of new things. I'm trying to keep my energy fully available for work during that time. So I will try to get in a live stream. I'll keep you guys updated on social media for that. But as for now, I think that's it for this one. And thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next either live show or vlog. Bye, everyone.